Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Community Unitarian Universalist Church here in Plano, Texas. It is so good to see all of you here joining us in person or online. My name is Reverend Dr. Aija Duelm. I am the minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. We are a faith community, and we welcome all who come through our doors. And the small print that we have to our welcome is that we ask everyone to respect the worth and dignity of all beings. We do not compromise on that. We bind ourselves together in covenant and not by creed. And so this is one of our core values that we hold that all beings have worth and dignity, and we are aspiring to respect that in our lives and here as well. The covenant itself is a promise. It's a promise about how we will be with one another, how we will treat each other, how we will behave when we are together, so that we can fulfill this or live into this value of worth and dignity of each other and build community that is inclusive and welcoming. And in this spirit, we work for justice. We work to nurture our spirits and care for each other because we believe that we are all connected. What affects one affects us all. And we do this in good faith, with good intentions, and we do know that we are only human, and there are times we fall short. We make mistakes, sometimes big ones as well. There is a lot of brokenness in the world. Many mistakes have been made, and often we are at a loss on how to repair that brokenness. Our faith calls us to come back into covenant. We use restorative justice language when we talk about repair. And this language is about restoring relationships that got broken when we did or said the thing that created harm. But how do we do that? How do we help each other to live the covenant? How do we alert our dear friend who might be breaking that covenant? How do we find strength and courage to right the wrong and come back into the covenant? These are the things that we will ponder this morning as we join in the service together. Wherever you are on your journey, we're glad you are here. For our call to worship, I offer you some words from Burton Carley. We gather on this Sunday morning to worship in spirit and truth, to raise a joyful noise to the eternal mystery, to reconfirm our covenant, to seek wisdom in love, to strengthen our commitment to the common good. We come from many paths to explore that which is hidden, to consider the ways of our hearts, to confess how we have stumbled, to heal what is broken. We assemble in the effort to quicken our compassion and mercy, to deepen our understanding, to renew our courage, and to remember who we are. Thus, do we celebrate the grace and gift of life and practice our faith to the greater glory of the Spirit. And we join in worship together. We will begin by lighting our chalice.
Our chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism and the light of hope. And each Sunday when we gather, we light this symbol of life. And today the chalice will be lit by Ann Smith.
This is called We Gather in This Sacred Space by Emily Richards. We gather this morning in a sacred space, kindling a fire that burns here in our chalice and in our hearts. We gather to honor our covenant and engage in congregational life, doing the necessary work to ensure that this community thrives. We gather together as a people of faith, guided by love, a love that burns as bright as the flame in our chalice. We light this chalice as we have done so many times before, for the warmth of love, the light of truth, and the energy of action.
A covenant is the promise that we make with one another about the way we will walk together as a community and as a congregation. Please join me in reminding ourselves of this promise. Love
is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth and freedom, and to help one another.
For our story time, I have a wonder box. And the wonder box is something that we all got a chance to wonder what might be inside. Then we discover what is inside, and we have a story about it. Any first kind of dibs into what might be in here? A kitten. A spider. Whoa. Is it alive? Okay. Is it alive? Yeah, my neighbor offered me a live one yesterday. Any other thoughts? Beans. The cat has the second. Oh, sorry. Stop. All right. I think we have our curiosity is intrigued, right? Let's find out. I think I'm not seeing anyone who's a minor, so I'm going to go and open it myself. Well, who was guessing? Who was guessing a spider? Spiders. Do you like spiders? Yes. Anyone doesn't? Okay. Right. What do we know about spiders? What do they do? They make webs. They make webs. Trust me, this is Halloween decoration with some tiny spiders, but I needed a bigger one. So they make webs. Do all spiders make webs? No, we have some experts here. Did you know that only about half of all the spiders make webs? They tricked all of us in thinking that most of them do, right? Because that's the first thing we do. We see the webs. What do they use webs for? Catching prey. Traveling. Raising young. Yeah. Sorry, I can't hear everything.
Promoting their best friend, the pig, and their spider web.
Okay. Well, they do communicate through the webs, right? Yes, they sense the vibrations. They are able to communicate. And they travel. Do you know how far they can travel by using just their web? Far. I know you wanted that answer. No. The Google says miles high and or across oceans. Fly. They fly. Right? So across oceans, that seems like a far to me, right? So what happens when a spider's web gets broken? They repair it. Yes. Do you know what they do first? Take out the broken piece, the repair the broken, so they remove whatever got in there. Of course, if it's a prey, it's a good day for a spider, right? But if it's a leaf or a branch or something else, a human went through it and tore it apart, they will, they can't remove the human, but they will remove the leaf or the branch piece or whatever kind of got into the web, and they'll start repairing it. And if the whole web is broken, what do? Rebuild it. Start over. They consume the web because they recycle the proteins that are in the silk. It's much easier to recycle them than to create new proteins. And then they build it anew in the same location, except if it gets broken multiple times in that same location. Then they go and find a different place for where to put the web. There are some estimates about the orb spiders and the web that they can rebuild the entire web in how long? 1 night. This estimate said even 1 hour. They can redo it in 1 hour. They don't hesitate. They start their work right away because that's what spiders do. The moral of the story, of course we have to get there, right? The spider does not give up when faced with failures or brokenness. It just immediately starts over, repairs the damage, even if that repair can take a while. Sometimes all night, sometimes an hour. But it teaches us to patiently reconstruct our lives after hardships. These lessons remind us that just like spider, we are the creator of our own lives. And we can turn brokenness into a new opportunity.
This behavioral covenant for all members was adopted by the membership at the congregational meeting of Community Unitarian Universalist Church on January 25th, 2004. We, the members and friends of Community Unitarian Universalist Church, will reflect and embody our UU principles by holding ourselves to the following ideals.
To treat others with genuine respect. To practice moral and mannered behavior. To be welcoming and open and honest with ourselves and sharing with others.
To strive towards consensus. To deal with conflict directly, face to face, voice to voice. To improve ourselves, our process, and our policies.
We live in times when there is a lot going on in the world. The ceasefire in Iran and Lebanon has been extended, but there still continues to be no clear resolution in sight. Potential solutions for this war in Iran are complex. There is no single, easy solution. You strongly oppose war. We call it illegal and destructive. We advocate for a dialogue to address nuclear concerns and human rights issues. It is also not clear whether the current ceasefire is going to lead to the end of the war or not. Will it allow us to find a solution forward? While Israel and Lebanon are still trying to figure out what is next for them, in the news, we do not hear as much about what Gaza and what has been left in ruins there without a clear path forward. How do we even begin to think about what comes after the war? How do we rebuild after such a significant damage? What does repair look like? And there are wars that are still going on without any clear sight for when they may end. These wars illustrate on a very vast scale how significant a damage can be when we decide to attack and intentionally hurt others. It also shows how difficult it is to come back from it. These are very obvious examples of the tremendous work that has to take place to bring healing in the midst of brokenness. In the world that we live in, there are many, many broken places. From the climate damage that we have contributed to, causing the climate warming that is now threatening our own existence, to human rights restrictions and abuses, to social ills and interpersonal relational hurts that many of us have experienced. And even here among us in this church, in our daily lives, we have encountered hurt and pain, things that break our hearts. On occasion, we may have been the ones who caused hurt and pain in others, not because we wanted to. Our intentions may have been good, but the thing that came out of our mouth did not land in the way that we thought it would. We know that we are at times capable of engaging in a behavior that can hurt others. And because we know that, here in this community, we have agreed to behave in a certain way, in a way that we have come to believe is respectful of each other and reduces harm. So we created a covenant in 2004. Some of us were there. This covenant was grounded in our UU faith, and at the time we used principles. We updated these principles in 2024. So now we use the language of values, and it might be time that we revisit our covenant in the light of the new values. However, until we do that, we will continue to look at the covenant as our guide. It says that we agree to respect others, to practice mannered behavior, to deal with conflict face to face, voice to voice, because we know that to do otherwise can bring harm. And not just to individuals, but to others as well, and in the end, to the whole community. The covenants hold promises. They are promises that we make to each other. And we do our best to live up to them. And yes, sometimes we fail. Our faith teaches us that one of us breaks the covenant, we call them back into it. We seek to use the restorative justice principles because we believe in the importance to repair the damage, to restore the relationships, to heal the harm, because when one relationship is broken, all of us experience ripple effects, and our whole community is affected. We know it happens. To be honest, how many of us would rather avoid dealing with conflict than address it face to face, voice to voice? How many of us would rather have someone else fix it for us than having to go through the emotions that it takes to face the conflict? So the question truly is, what do we do when one of us happens to break those promises that we set for ourselves? Are we willing to remind our friends that the behavior is not appropriate, that we agreed to do better? Are we ourselves willing to listen to our friends who might be telling us that we need to stop doing some things because those are hurting others? And how do we go about repairing that harm that we probably did not intend to create and now feel ashamed that we did? So today, to tackle these questions, I want to start by drawing on our story for all ages about how spiders repair the web. And what we learned from the spiders earlier is that the first thing they do is remove the harm, remove the piece that was in the web that was damaging it. To us, this is about stopping the harmful behavior, ending the practice that hurts others. Sometimes it can be easier said than done, and we may need help to stop the behavior because we are not spiders. Repairing the hurt is not a simple task. It takes a lot of courage and a lot of work. There are times when that repair work becomes an ongoing process. Because it is not just about stopping the harm. That relational work to restore the broken places is often complex and difficult. Aija Duelm, who wrote the book on repentance and repair, and this book was our common read for the year 2023 and 24. Each year, UUA chooses a book, and then all of the U's across the country are reading it, discussing it. This year, the book is on social change, and we already discussed it in January, and we will discuss it again in June. So you may want to put it on the calendar. During our RE times, we will come and read the book together and talk about it again. But this book on repentance and repair was selected 2 years ago to be that common read book. It explores how to make amends using a framework that was introduced by the 12th century Jewish physician and scholar Moses ben Maimon, and commonly known as Maimonides. Some of us, I see some shaking heads. Well, for us it's a new name, Maimonides. He was one of the most prolific and influential Torah scholars of the Middle Ages. And in the book, Aija Duelm says, according to Maimonides, A person does not just get to mess up, mumble, sorry, and get on with it. They are not entitled to forgiveness if they have not done the work of repair. And they are not necessarily entitled to forgiveness even if they have. Another human being's suffering is not magically erased because the person who caused it says that they didn't mean to do it. This is true in our personal lives, and it is true of politicians caught saying racist things, celebrities named as sexual abusers, human resources departments that cover up employees' complaints, and governments perpetrating harm against individuals or groups. Fixing damage involves taking specific steps, and there's a process. We can't ever undo what happened, but we can transform the situation and ourselves. Unquote. I'm not sure if in my lifetime I will ever hear our administration being able to offer an apology, even less take the steps necessary to mend the web. The experts, such as counselors and therapists, tell us that in order to ensure lasting recovery, the key ingredients in this work are accountability and the relational, often painful work of repair that act as a bridge from survival to restored relationships. When one person practices accountability, they're not just healing themselves. They are repairing the breach in the wider community web. This is why this work is a spiritual work. And it calls us to see ourselves bigger than just our individual selves. Our actions impact the wider web. And if we truly want to see our web mended, we can start by practicing accountability with each other, by claiming the courage to speak up when we see harm happening, and by helping each other to come back into covenant. We are shaped by the community that we are part of, by people who we surround ourselves with. It matters who our friends are. It matters what we sow and reap. And it is time, my friends, to live ourselves into well-being, where we all can thrive, find nurture and care, where we can be well. It is my wish for all of us to be a community that cares and leads each other into well-being.
As our worship time this morning draws to a close, it is time now to extinguish our chalice. Please join me now in reciting these words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
I offer these words by Krista Taves as we go forward. It is our work shared with each other in covenant that creates and sustains this beloved community. We extinguished our chalice, but its light lives on in the directions we have chosen today. The light of this faith lives on in us, together in our hearts, minds, bodies, and spirits. Amen, and blessed be.